really like the ingenuity in keeping both the motor reliable and the speed controller cool. Hi guys, Brett here from Hearns, and today I'd like to take a look at our RC powerboat range. Now, especially this time of year coming into Christmas, we have a full range of little boats. Now we really concentrate on 3 because we found those ones to be the best across a wide range of applications. So I'm going to talk you each and every one of them, why we carry them and why I think each model is better than the other one. So let's go forward. So the first one, move this one out of the way. The first one that I want to talk about is the Udi Gallop. This boat is really cool. This is the smallest in the powerboat range that we carry. Now I've got this one out of a box here, as you can see. Got it on the overhead. So first thing is, it comes with a really cool flat pack stand. That's really nice because it keeps the propeller and the rudder off the ground when you're storing it. Makes it easy to work on and when you're changing the batteries. In the packet also comes a spare prop. Now that's a handy little device that you won't think you need until you, of course, you break it. If you run over rocks or on the edge of a swimming pool, yeah, get it tangled enough, they can break. So it's really nice that they give you a spare one when you buy the boat initially. They also comes with a rubber nose piece. Now that situates over the front, and if you're driving it like in a pool or a rocky environment, it's a really good idea to save you breaking the hull, potentially causing a split that can let water in. Another thing that you'll get in the kit, of course, is the battery. Now in this boat here, it's 1100 milliamp, and it's a LiPo lithium ion kind of battery, which is really good, powerful, give you about 20 minutes runtime, which is plenty. And this is a little simple USB charging port. Now that is really good, keeps the battery charged. Will charge up in an hour or two. It's not a super fast charger, but will definitely charge up in about an hour and get you back out on the water. Okay, so let's jump in further into the boat. So you start off by, it's got 2 covers here. Now this one here has actually been played with for over a year now. So it's been played with in both the Yarra, Port Phillip Bay here in Melbourne. It's played lakes and estuaries and the farm dam as well. And it's held up really, really good. So the secondary cover here will come off. Helps turn it upside down, give it a tap. And then inside here, just put it back on the stand. I'm going to get the top camera here and zoom right in. Okay, now we're going to have a look at the basic architecture. Okay, so as I zoom in, let's have a look at the basic architecture of the boat. So here is the battery plug within. Here is the little motor. It's like a 260 style motor, and it's got aluminium piping around it. That's actually channels water through. So as the boat moves along, it picks water up from underneath the rear here, and that force feeds it through around the cooling circuit and out through the side here. So just like a real boat, does have water cooling. We've got here a battery tray, so the battery will fit in just like so, nice and secure. And then further down here we've got the steering servo or the rudder servo, and you can see how that is a direct link to the rudder. Really, really cool. Now, so all you have to do is plug the boat in, and they've got a good safety guard in that the propeller shouldn't actually work out of water. So you do need to get the little electric sensor underneath here wet before the boat will actually work, and that's to save little fingers and hair and stuff being caught in the propeller accidentally. So go ahead here. Now next piece of the puzzle is I've actually got the transmitter here. So this is a transmitter that comes with it. Again, it's a wheel style radio, 2.4 gig. It has a self-righting function as well. So if the boat does pop upside down and get stuck, seemingly stranded out in the middle of the pond or the lake, wherever, you just go backwards and forwards on the throttle quite vigorously, and the boat itself will pop over and right itself. So it's a self-righting feature, which is really, really cool. Now that extends across the whole Udi range that we carry, and it's really, really cool. Another alarm on the remote here is an alarm to say that it's getting far, getting out of reach. So that lets you know how far you can go. because the last thing you want to do is just drive it one direction and then all of a sudden have no control. So the transmitter itself will make beeping noises, asking you in fact to return back to shore. Run it a little bit closer. So let's turn it on and see what we're greeted with. And absolutely, as we thought, the boat itself needs to be in water to fire up. So that's a simple little procedure, putting it in the water and firing it up. But that's easy as that. There's no switches, there's no plug and play. You just plug the battery in, turn your transmitter on. You can see that it's searching for the boat, and the boat will work once it's wet. Okay, so, and then to seal it back up when you're using it, we put the secondary cover on. Get these battery leads tucked down nicely out the way, like so. Go ahead here. You can hear the clicking noises. That's the cover going on, keeping it watertight. The secondary cover going on, making it look cool. Now this little boat here, although quite small in stature, does reach Ks of 30-40 kilometers an hour and does have the power to run in like Port Phillip Bay. So it will actually run along, it will jump, it will go underneath waves, will pop out the other side. It's a really cool little boat. Now let's take a look at the next step up in the range. So we can see here direct comparison on the overhead, the Rapid. So the yellow one is called the Gallop, the red one is called the Rapid. Now you can see here as a size comparison, it is that little bit bigger. So this makes it even better for bigger bodies of water and outside of a swimming pool, whereas you can play with the Gallop inside a regular size swimming pool. The Rapid here is probably a little bit too big and fast to play within a swimming pool, but even better when you go out to the beach and play. So you can see here we've got an offset rudder, we've got trim plates underneath, and again we've got the propeller, which is fully changeable and does come with a spare. Now the rubber nose piece I showed you before for the Gallop, I've actually got that one fitted on the Rapid, and you can see how it looks. So that's like a bumper bar for the boat to save you causing any hull damage. And again, the Rapid comes with the little boat mount. Okay, let's take it off and have a look. Again, it's got two covers to ensure that no water gets in. We just unlock all these and we can pop the lid off. Oops, I locked that one by mistake. Unlock. There we go. Again, very similar in construction. Let's go on the overhead and have a look at how it's put together. I'll zoom right in there again. Okay, I can see this one here in fact's got a bigger size motor than the one we had on. So it's still a brushed motor. I'd say it's 380 size. We've got a little bit bigger battery that comes with this boat. So this one here is still 7.4 volts, so 2S. And it is in fact 1500 milliamps. So it does have about 50% more capacity than the smaller boat. But given the fact that it's got a bigger motor, I probably won't have a longer run time. I'd really guess it to be about the same, 15-20 minutes on the water. We can see here again we've got the cooling channels for the motor. Again, draws water in from the rear and comes out the water pipe out the side here. Got a simple neat little battery holder again. We can slide the battery in like so. Can put it in and click it in. Like so. Get the wire down there. Keep it all nice and neat, like so. Now that'll just go ahead and plug in, and that's the connection. Again, we've got our steering servo or rudder servo here, direct control. Yeah, so very simple architecture, very reliable, and that's to keep it watertight and robust. Like I said, these things they do actually go really, really fast, and they can definitely take a pounding with the waves. We'll put the lock on here. There we go. So that is both covers on, as simple as that, ready to hit the water. Again, really nice construction. Injection molded hull, really, really good. The battery charger for the Rapid is the same in the Gallop, and it's a little 2 amp USB style charger. I would expect it to take around 2 hours for that battery, being a bit bigger in capacity than the smaller boat. So it will take longer to charge, but it will give you more power. Okay, now the last boat that we carry in the Udi range is this one. Now this one is a brushless boat, and you can judge by the size of the box, it is in fact a lot bigger than the other two that we've had on. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox it for you right now on camera. Get this one out of the box. Look here at the overhead. So we're greeted with, again, that's how the little boat mount comes, little boat stand. So you can see we've got little tools again. We've got the spare propeller, and we've got tools to service and adjust the trim flaps, and little screws, and a little wrench there to help get the prop on and off. This one here, we have quite a bit bigger battery here. Now this is 11.1 volts or 3S. Again, LiPo construction, a really powerful battery, and they've stepped it up with this connector with the XT60 style connector here. So really robust battery and connector system. We should have, here it is. Again, we're greeted with the very familiar 2.4 gig UDI radio. All same in functions and control: left, right, trim, throttle trim, up and down, steering, throttle and reverse. So identical to the other ones. What have we got up here? Here we've got the charger. And the charger's a little bit different to the other two that we had, obviously because it's got to do 3S. So this is a 3S balance charger. Again, it uses a 12 volt power supply, so 240 volt, not USB, and a simple little charge port here for the battery to go in. And given the fact that that's got a 1 amp output rate, I would expect that to charge in about 2 hours. Now let's flip it over and get the boat out. That's what we want to see. Okay, and this one is called the Arrow, and I really like it in the white colour. Actually looks really classy. Now I don't have the boat stand set up, so I'm just going to have to leave it on the hull very gently, not to damage the rudder, while I get this big box out of the way. Okay, so here we have the Arrow boat. Now I'm going to have to zoom out on the camera here and get the size in. So here we can see we've got the Arrow boat. In front of it we've got the Rapid, and in front of that we've got the little Gallop. You can see the size difference. So from the smallest to the largest, you're looking at least double the size, and you've got one perfectly in between, and you can see why we carry the 3 in the range. So let's have a look under the hood of the Arrow. Again, very similar architecture in the hull design. We've got the trim tabs here which are adjustable on this model, and that will help trim the boat and get it to launch nice out of the water. Again, we've got the offset rudder, which is quite deep into the water, and that's because the boat is going to plane so high out. It's really just going to be the bottom half of the prop and the rudder in the water. So let's go ahead and have a look at the battery compartment. Very similar to the other ones, and it's got the double design. Let's get this one unlocked. Like so. Okay, and what are we greeted with in here? I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Let's have a look what we've got here. So if I spin this one around and turn on the angle, we can see we've got quite a substantially bigger ESC than the other two units. Now that's because this is a 3S powerboat, so 11.1 volts, and it is brushless. So it's going to have at least double, if not triple, the horsepower of the boat below it here. So it's actually got an outrigger style motor, brushless motor, so it's a little 3-phase motor here of outrigger sensorless configuration, and that will give a great amount of efficiency and power. So that is really cool. It's going to be super reliable. You can see here the shaft on the end of the outrigger motor. Really nice. It's even got a bit of a flywheel here for the flywheel effect bolted on the end. We've got the battery cradle here, so that's where the battery will strap in with a Velcro strap. Again, we've got the nice heavy duty XT60 style connector. Again with the water cooling, this time it goes through the ESC as well, which is really nice. So the water pickup again from down the back of the boat gets forced up through the motor here, and then through the motor out to the ESC and around. So that is really cool how they've done that. I really like the ingenuity in keeping both the motor reliable and the speed controller cool, giving us maximum speed and horsepower. Again, we've got our steering servo or our rudder servo here, direct link, which is really nice. And yeah, and that is the Arrow boat. Quite sizable compared to the other two. And I guesstimate speeds on this to be upwards of 60-70 kilometers an hour on the water, potentially more. I haven't had the privilege of playing with one myself, but given the chance, I'll definitely be as simple as putting that on, putting the dress cover on, and getting ready to hit the water. Alright guys, so I'm Brett from Hearns, and thank you for taking the time to explore the range of the power boats that we've got in, and I hope this has helped you out. And if you've got any questions or queries, please comment or get in touch with us in store, and we'll be able to help you out with any further of your queries. I'm Brett from Hearns Hobbies, and thanks for watching me talk about power boats. Thanks guys.